All right, 11-2, adding integers. What I want you to do is go ahead and take a few minutes and hit pause and copy this down so that we can use these rules to answer the following questions. So go ahead and hit pause and I'll be back in a few seconds. All right, as you look at the rules itself, it says same signs you will add and the sign will stay the same. Okay, so again, the same sign you will add, the sign will stay the same. For example, 5 plus 6 equals 11. Okay, they're both positive numbers, you add. Same thing in this situation, same signs, they are -5 plus a -6 equals, now it is, and you're going to add because they're the same sign, and the sign will stay the same. Since they are both negative, your answer is negative. Okay? Now this parenthesis right here is purely for organizational purposes. There is no value to this. There's nothing to solve inside those parentheses. Okay? It's just to separate and isolate the negative sign with that number so that it doesn't get confused with this plus sign being a subtraction sign. So keep that in mind. You'll see that a lot, and it's always just on the second number, okay, if that happens to be negative. Different signs you will subtract, and the sign will be the sign of the larger digit, okay, which is the absolute value. So for example, these are different signs. Therefore, we are going to subtract. So, and a lot of you are looking at this saying, well, you can't subtract 5 minus 6. Okay, that's true, you can't. We have to just get over the whole point of that and know that you're going to still take 5 from 6 and you get 1. Okay, and we'll talk more about that again in class as well. But you just have to realize that you're going to subtract the bigger number minus the smaller number, no matter what the order is. Okay, and I know that again goes against what you've been taught up to this point. That's where, but when we look at this, when you subtract, you are, and again, a lot of times when you'd say, well, you can't subtract this because you're going to get a negative number. True, you are. It's going to be -1. Okay, that's why you're allowed to do it now. And again, that is because you will get negative numbers now. And you've been told that all along, saying you can't subtract them. And that's the reason why, because you would get negative, and we weren't going down that path yet. But now you are. So welcome to the big world. It is 5 plus a -6. Again, different signs. Therefore, you subtract, so you get 1. And then the sign of the larger digit, 6 is bigger than 5, and therefore, since it's negative, the answer will be negative. Okay? Looking at another scenario, 6 plus a -5, again, unlike signs, therefore you subtract, or different signs, you subtract, and you get 1. And again, 6 is a larger digit than 5. So therefore, since 6 is positive, the answer is positive. This scenario is a -6 plus 6. If you were to subtract the two numbers, because again, they are different signs, you get 0. And the sign, 0 is 0. Okay, we talked about how that's a neutral number. There is nothing to do with that since they are identical numbers getting 0. Okay, and when you think of the logic behind it, if it's -6 degrees and you add another 6 degrees, it's going to put it all the way up to 0. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Okay, 3 plus a -4, and I want you to go ahead and hit pause between each of these problems. I think we have 5 more, and then solve it, and then we'll see if we can compare answers and check for understanding. So go ahead and hit pause and solve. All right, since we are using, again, keep those rules in front of you until we start to get to know them a little better, and as much as we're going to be using them you'll begin to memorize them on your own, to where you won't have to refer to them all the time. But it is still good to refer to them through this entire lesson today. Since we have unlike signs, meaning different signs, therefore it says you're going to subtract. So you're going to subtract them. 3 from 4 is going to give you 1. And larger number, okay, the larger digit, 4, okay, and we're not looking at whether it's negative or positive. We're simply looking at the larger digit. 4 is larger, therefore it is negative, so my answer is negative. So -1 is my answer. Letter B, go ahead and hit pause. All right, looking at your rules, we have same signs. Therefore, it says you're going to add. So 9 plus 5 is 14. And the sign stays the same. So since they are negative, my answer is negative. Next problem. -8 plus 3. So again, using my rules, go ahead and solve this. So we have different signs, so therefore you're going to subtract them. So 5 minus 3 is going, or excuse me, 8 minus 3 would give me 5. And you are now going to look for the larger digit. 8 is larger, therefore since it's negative, my answer will be negative. So -5 is my answer for this. And again, this is all referring back to what we did yesterday with the computer activity, and showing how the two, basically the negatives, here's my 3 positives, and I take away, they match up and neutralize the 3 negatives, leaving you with 5 negatives left. Okay, that's the same process that we're using. Letter D, go ahead and solve. We have same signs, therefore it says you're going to add, which is going to give me 25, and the sign stays the same, therefore it is positive. And if you want to put a little positive sign, you can. Usually we don't try to put that in there, simply just to keep things a little cleaner, a little more organized. If there's no positive or negative sign on there, then it's referring to that it is positive, which is what you've been doing. And again, if you look at the simplicity of this problem, it's 12 plus 13. It's something you've been doing for many, many years, adding those numbers together. Okay? And the last problem, go ahead and solve. Now we have unlike signs, therefore it says, or different signs, therefore you are going to subtract. So 12 minus 12 is 0. And again, as we spoke earlier about, since 0 is the answer, it is a neutral number. It's not negative or positive. Okay, so 0 is my answer. And if you have any further questions, please make note of those, and we'll discuss those in class tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be on subtracting integers. So we're going to actually be using some of these same rules again once we change our problems. So you're going to get to know these rules really, really well. Have a great night.